There are moments in a relationship when a woman doesn't tell you directly that she is unhappy. She may not sit you down and say, "I don't feel the same anymore." Instead, her behavior begins speaking for her. The conversations become shorter. The warmth starts disappearing. The things that once mattered suddenly don't seem important to her, and you may find yourself standing in the same relationship, yet feeling completely alone. That is what makes emotional distance so painful, because sometimes you don't lose someone when they walk away. You lose them slowly, while they are still standing beside you. And if you are a man who truly cares about the woman in your life, you need to understand the difference between a temporary bad mood and a deeper emotional disconnection. Because when a woman is unhappy for a long time, her behavior often changes before her words do. She may become quieter. She may stop sharing the little details of her day. She may stop looking forward to seeing you. And the most painful part is that you might notice all of this, but still convince yourself that everything is fine. You tell yourself she is just tired. She is stressed. She is busy. Maybe she will feel better tomorrow, but tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. And suddenly, the emotional distance between you has become something neither of you knows how to cross. The first thing you may notice is that she stops communicating with the same emotional openness. Communication is more than talking. A woman can speak to you every day and still feel emotionally disconnected from you. She can answer your messages, sit beside you, eat dinner with you, and even say that everything is okay. While emotionally, she has already started withdrawing. When someone feels deeply connected to you, they usually want to share things with you. They tell you about their day. They tell you what made them laugh. They tell you what hurt them. They tell you what they are worried about. They want you to understand them. But when unhappiness builds inside a relationship, that desire to share can slowly disappear. She may stop explaining herself. She may stop telling you what she needs. She may stop arguing because in her mind, arguing requires believing that something can still change. And when someone reaches the point where they no longer believe their words will make a difference, silence can become their response. That silence should not immediately be interpreted as hatred or betrayal. Sometimes it is simply emotional exhaustion. Sometimes a person has tried to communicate many times and feels unheard. And this is where a mature man needs to stop defending himself for a moment and start listening instead of saying, "What's wrong with you?" Ask yourself, what has she been trying to tell me that I haven't really heard? That question can change everything, because relationships do not usually collapse because of one conversation. They weaken through repeated moments of feeling ignored, misunderstood, disrespected, or emotionally abandoned. The second change is that she may stop making an effort to create closeness. Think about the early stages of a relationship. There is excitement. There is anticipation. There is effort. You both want to spend time together. You look forward to seeing each other. You make plans. You create memories. But when someone becomes deeply unhappy, effort can slowly become obligation. She may still be physically present, but emotionally she may no longer be participating. And this is one of the hardest things for a man to recognize. Because you may think, she is still here, so everything must be okay. But physical presence is not the same as emotional presence. Someone can be beside you while their heart feels miles away. Maybe she no longer initiates conversations. Maybe she rarely suggests spending time together. Maybe she seems indifferent about plans that once excited her. Maybe every attempt to connect feels like you are pulling her toward you while she is quietly moving away. If you notice this, do not immediately chase harder. Do not bombard her with messages. Do not demand constant reassurance, and do not turn the relationship into an interrogation. Instead, create space for an honest conversation. Tell her calmly that you have noticed a change. Tell her that you care about how she feels. And most importantly, listen without immediately trying to win the argument. Because sometimes what a person needs most is not another explanation. They need to feel heard. The third thing that can happen is emotional irritation. Small things that once seemed harmless suddenly become major sources of frustration. Your jokes may annoy her, your habits may bother her, your messages may feel intrusive, even your attempts to help may be received negatively, and you might start thinking, why is she reacting like this? I haven't even done anything. But emotional frustration rarely appears out of nowhere. Sometimes it is the result of many unresolved feelings. Imagine carrying a heavy emotional backpack every day. One small problem may not be enough to break you. But when you keep adding disappointment, misunderstanding, unmet expectations, and resentment, eventually even something small can feel overwhelming. This does not mean every negative reaction is justified. Respect still matters. Healthy communication still matters. Nobody should use unhappiness as an excuse to insult, manipulate, humiliate, or emotionally abuse another person. But if her frustration seems to be connected to a deeper pattern, don't focus only on the latest argument. Look at the bigger picture. Ask yourself what has been happening underneath the surface. Maybe she feels neglected. Maybe she feels that her needs are always coming second. Maybe she feels like you hear her words but never understand the emotion behind them. Or maybe the relationship has simply changed and neither of you has adapted. A mature relationship requires two people who are willing to examine themselves, not just point fingers, not just say, you changed, but ask, how did we get here? The fourth sign is that she may become less emotionally vulnerable with you. This one can hurt more than an argument because when someone stops fighting with you, sometimes you assume the relationship has become peaceful. But there is a difference between peace and emotional surrender. When someone loves deeply, they often allow themselves to be vulnerable. They tell you their fears. They reveal insecurities. They tell you what they hope for. They let you see the parts of themselves that they don't show everyone. But when trust begins to weaken, vulnerability often disappears. She may start keeping things to herself. She may stop asking for your opinion. She may stop telling you what she really feels. She may become emotionally private. And eventually you may realize that you know less about her inner world than you used to. That should make you pause, not panic. Pause. Because the solution is not to force her to open up. You cannot demand emotional intimacy. You have to create an environment where honesty feels safe. If every time she tells you something difficult, you become defensive, angry, dismissive, or sarcastic, eventually she may learn to stop telling you things. And when communication disappears, assumptions take its place. You start guessing. She starts guessing. Both people become emotionally exhausted. This is why emotional safety is so important. A woman should be able to tell you that she is unhappy without immediately fearing that you will attack her character. And a man should also be able to express his needs without being mocked or dismissed. A healthy relationship is not one where nobody gets upset. It is one where both people can be honest about being upset and still treat each other with dignity. The fifth and perhaps most painful change is that she may stop seeing a future with the same emotional excitement. You can hear this in the way she talks. The plans become vague. The excitement disappears. The future becomes something she avoids discussing. She may stop talking about things you could build together. She may no longer imagine where the relationship could go. And this is where many people make a serious mistake. They try to force certainty. They ask again and again, do you still love me? Are you going to leave? Are you talking to someone else? Tell me what you want. But pressure rarely creates genuine connection. Sometimes it only creates more distance. If someone is emotionally confused, give them room to speak honestly. And while you are giving them that space, do not abandon your own dignity. This is extremely important. Caring about someone does not mean losing yourself. Loving someone does not mean begging them to choose you. And wanting a relationship to work does not mean accepting disrespect just because you are afraid of losing the person. You can fight for a relationship without fighting against yourself. You can communicate without begging. You can apologize without humiliating yourself. You can improve without becoming someone you are not. And you can love deeply while still having boundaries. Sometimes the most powerful thing a man can do is stop reacting emotionally to every change in a woman's behavior and start becoming emotionally grounded himself. If she pulls away, don't immediately chase. If she becomes distant, Don't become desperate. If she needs space, respect it. But if she repeatedly disrespects you, communicate your boundary. There is a difference between patience and self-abandonment. There is a difference between understanding someone and tolerating everything. And there is a difference between fighting for love and begging for attention. You deserve a relationship where effort moves in both directions. You deserve communication that doesn't require constant guessing. You deserve affection that doesn't feel like something you have to earn every single day. And so does she. That is why this conversation is not about blaming women. It is not about saying every woman who becomes distant is secretly doing something wrong. People become distant for many reasons: stress, personal struggles, emotional exhaustion, unresolved conflict, changing priorities. Relationship problems. Sometimes the problem is inside the relationship. Sometimes the problem is inside the individual. And sometimes two good people simply become incompatible. The goal is not to become paranoid. The goal is to become aware, because awareness gives you a chance to respond before resentment becomes permanent. If you recognize these changes in your relationship, don't immediately assume the worst. Don't accuse her. Don't spy on her. Don't create imaginary stories in your head. Have the difficult conversation. Sit down. Put your phone away. Look her in the eyes and say something. I feel like something between us has changed. I don't want to fight with you. I want to understand. How have you really been feeling about us? Then listen, really listen. Don't prepare your defense while she is speaking. Don't interrupt every sentence. Don't turn every concern into a counterattack. Let her finish, because sometimes the relationship doesn't need another argument. It needs honesty. And after the conversation, pay attention to actions. Words matter, but patterns matter too. If both of you genuinely want the relationship, there is something to work with. You can rebuild trust. You can improve communication. You can create new experiences together. You can learn how to love each other better. But if only one person is fighting for the relationship while the other has emotionally checked out, you eventually have to face that reality too. You cannot carry an entire relationship alone. You can open the door. You can communicate. You can apologize. You can change your behavior, but you cannot force another human being to love, stay, or connect. And accepting that truth is not weakness. It is emotional strength. Sometimes love means holding on and rebuilding. Sometimes love means giving someone the space to decide. And sometimes love means accepting that the relationship has reached a point where both people need to choose what is healthiest for them. Never allow fear of losing someone to make you lose yourself. Because the right relationship should not require you to become smaller just to keep someone beside you. A woman who is happy, emotionally connected, and respected will usually not need to pretend that everything is perfect. And neither will you. There will be disagreements. There will be difficult seasons. There will be moments when one person feels misunderstood. But underneath all of that should be respect, honesty, effort, and a willingness to repair what has been damaged. So if you feel that she is no longer happy with you, don't panic. Don't chase blindly. Don't become controlling. Don't immediately assume betrayal. Become curious. Become calm. Become honest. Look at your own behavior. Look at the relationship as a whole, and then have the conversation that you may have been avoiding, because sometimes one honest conversation can save a relationship. And sometimes that conversation can reveal that it is time to let go. Either way, you gain something valuable, the truth. And the truth is always better than living inside a relationship built on fear, confusion, and unanswered questions. Remember this. You should never have to beg someone to communicate with you. You should never have to destroy your self-respect to keep someone's attention. And you should never confuse emotional desperation with love. Real love has room for honesty. Real love has room for boundaries. Real love has room for growth. And real love requires two people who are willing to show up. So if you see these changes, don't just ask, why is she acting differently? Ask the deeper question. What is happening between us? That question may be uncomfortable, but it may also be the beginning of something better. Because sometimes the relationship doesn't need you to chase harder. It needs you to understand deeper. And sometimes the strongest man in the room is not the man who never feels afraid of losing someone. It is the man who can say, I love you. I care about us. I'm willing to work on this, but I will never lose myself trying to make someone choose me. That is emotional strength. That is self-respect. And that is the kind of mindset that can transform not only your relationship, but the man you become inside it.